Hello and welcome to PATH. My name is J.L. Benjamin and I am your host, and I'm here with special guest, world-renowned casting director, highly sought after, George Pierre. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you doing this morning?
Good. Are you ready to jump into the questions?
No.
You're not ready?
Yes.
Oh my God, cut. Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
This is going to be one interesting interview. I'm going to behave, though. You have my word.
You promise? Okay. We have a detention center.
Oh, whoa, sister. Wait a minute. Well, how do we get to that? How we go from world renowned to going to detention center?
We'll start at the beginning, though. So where are you from?
Originally Brooklyn, New York.
Brooklyn, New York. How does a person from Brooklyn, New York become a casting director?
I got in my car and I drove to Georgia.
Awesome.
And the rest is history.
So it's safe to say Atlanta's the best city.
Atlanta is popping. I mean, but my journey started off, it wasn't even in the film industry. It was, I used to work for Home Depot and I got fired. They were laying people off, and I said to myself and to my wife, I said, I'm gonna go back to school. And when I tell you she was working at Red Lobster, like literally she would come home sometimes and be like, these people are horrible. One lady left me 50 cents as a tip. I said, wow, that's pretty harsh. And so from there, I just stayed in school. And one of my professors, my script writing professor, was like, hey, we got two gentlemen who own Rainforest that are gonna be speaking at the Women in Films and Television. And I paid my $10 because I wasn't a member, but if you were a member, you could pay $5. Greatest $10 I ever paid. So I went, and lo and behold, Rob Hardy and Will Packer, they were not there. They didn't show up. Damn it. I'm still mad at them behind that shit. But you know who was there? Diane Ashford. And I was so nervous. And then I raised my hand. I said, hey, are you looking for any interns? She was like, yeah, you don't see all these boxes we have right here? I said, oh yeah, absolutely, listen, cool. She gave me her card. And every so often, I didn't want to be a pest or pain in the ass, so every so often I would call. And nobody would pick up. So I decided one day, I got in my car, I drove to the address that's on her business card. And it was a UPS store. So I go in, I still go in, because when God is leading you, just go.
Yeah. So
I go in, and then I say to the guy, so is Cemetery Entertainment or Rainforest here? The guy looked at me like, no. He said, this is a post office here. I said, you sure their office is not in the back? He was like, no, sir. I said, all right, cool. This is when they had the flip phones. So I go outside, flip my phone, dial that number again, and guess what happens?
Nobody pick up.
They did pick up this time. I don't know what it was. Maybe God was testing to see how badly I want it. So I get an interview. First of all, they were laughing on the phone for like 10 minutes straight because I told them I'm at your office. And he was like, no, that's not our office. That's our post office box. That's where we get mail. I said, oh, that makes sense then. And so they gave me the correct address, which was in Marietta. And so I went there, and they started me off as an intern, started reading scripts. Thank God I know how to read, because there was a lot of reading. So we read a lot of scripts, we put my notes down. But where the journey literally began was they left me in the office one day all by myself, and the phone rang. So this is my professional voice I'm about to use for you, all right?
Yep, I love it. Bring, bring.
Hi, thank you for calling Rainforest Films. This is George speaking. How may I help you? That's where I started. As they say, the rest is history. And the person on the other end it was Diane, unbeknownst to me. She paused for a second, and she's like, hey, George, is there anybody at the office? I said, no, but do you want me to take a message? She said, no, it's cool. And so next thing I know, they were shooting the gospel, or had just finished shooting the gospel at that point. And mind you, I had no income coming in. They paid me $400 a week. When I tell you that was the greatest $400, that you gotta understand the journey though. The greatest people look at it, I'm getting it for the money. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. The money will come. I promise you that. But once you love and you're working hard to do what you want to do, it'll come. And so they paid me $400 a week. I think it was for like 8 weeks or something like that. I was able to like do things that I needed to do. My wife was a little, like I'm not a deadbeat. I'm getting a little bit of money coming in the house and all that. And then so they said to me, hey, do you want to work on our next project? What do you want to do? I said, oh, I'll be your PA. That's right, I looked into the camera. I didn't know what a PA was at that time. So here I am going to set. I hear somebody else yell, rolling. Well, shit, rolling. I yell it too. They said, cut, reset back to one, reset back to one. I didn't know what the heck that was. I kept saying until later, I was like, oh, they listening to me. Yeah. Okay, so they put me in charge of all the background. When I tell you that was a crash course. So here I am, first set ever, Stomp the Yard, the first one, and I'm in charge of the background. 400 background a day. I had to do what I had to do. And so from there, I got to meet Angie Bones. And from there, I met Derek Deuce. So I say this to say, people in your lives are always gonna lead you towards the path that you're supposed to go to, if you work hard to get there. Because of the people that they saw something in me, I guess, they led me to the next level, and then to the next level, and then to the next level. So I went from interning for Rainforest Films to now being a PA, to now wanting to start my own extras casting company, which I quickly said, I do not like extras casting. Only because it is very difficult. Not that casting is not difficult, but
yeah.
Sometimes you book people and they don't show up. You're like, oh Lord, the producers is looking at you like, hey man, where's the people that were supposed to be here today? I said, I don't know, call them. But needless to say, I didn't say that. But needless to say, I said to myself, I want to start casting. And whoever would hire me, whoever would let me work for free, I didn't care. And it's funny, it goes back to my roots where I started off at with Rainforest Films. They were doing a commercial, a CNN spot. And Rob was like, yeah, I don't think George is the right one for this. You know, he's never really, not that he didn't trust me, but I've never really done it before. And I'll never forget, I was working out of my office on Auburn Avenue, right? And from 9 o'clock at night, no, in the morning to 9 o'clock at night, I held sessions. I didn't know that's not the way you were supposed to do it. And when I tell you I was burnt out, oh my God, I would go home like this, please nobody talk to me. I don't know if I can continue this shit right here. But afterward, because Diane went to the bathroom, he was like, no, George can do it, he can make it happen. And Rob was like, all right. And when I presented to him the tapes, he was like, wow, I love it. And then we cast 3 CNN spots, which was phenomenal. Then we were fortunate to, through Angie Bones, who's absolutely phenomenal, who literally, one of the major people who started my career, I was working at Tyler Perry Studios, doing the extras casting. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to keep doing the extras casting. And so one day I went up to her, I said, hey, you know what? Thank you, but I'm done. I can't do extras anymore. I don't want to do PA, I'm not doing it, I can't. It's just not for me. I know what I want to do, I know where I want to go. And she's like, okay, cool. I swear to you, like maybe a month or 2 months later, she called me. She was like, hey, we're doing Meet the Browns. We'd like for you to come in and interview to be the casting director for Meet the Browns. And it's just amazing. From there, I got another call from the producers of Teen Wolf when it was here in town. And it was one of the producers from Tyler Perry Studios. He's a world-renowned casting director. He casted Oprah Winfrey in The Color Purple, Mr. Reuben Cannon. But there's a story behind Mr. Cannon. And I love you, Mr. Cannon. Please don't take this the wrong way. I said to him one day while we was on Krog Street, I said, Mr. Cannon, I would love to just sit down on one of your sessions. This man looked at me, he said, that will never happen. I said, wow.
With that face?
Her face was a little more sterner, right? But I didn't let it hold me. I didn't let it hinder me. I kept doing what I, kept doing it. And then somebody showed him the CNN spots that I did. So unbeknownst to me, he spoke to the producers on Teen Wolf. And then I said, hey, to the team, I said, how'd you get my name? I said, oh, Reuben Cannon gave it. I said, really? Really? And from there, it was just like, I guess that saying to say the rest is history, but it just doesn't stop there. Just because we get to cast awesome movies and TV shows doesn't mean we don't still have to work hard in order to keep that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people feel, oh, he's casting, or he's got it. I still got to interview for these shows. I still have to talk to these producers and make them feel comfortable that, hey, I can do this job for you. And I have over 80 credits. literally over 80 credits. But I don't mind doing that. Yes, we heard the phone. Jesus Christ. But I don't mind doing that because I feel it's part of my journey, and somebody else could kind of see that and want to do the same thing and not take it. Because when you get something handed to you, you don't really appreciate it. Because if it breaks, you're like, man, I can always get another one. But if you work hard for that and you got your blood, sweat, and tears, and then you look at the screen and you see your name, because my biggest thing that I said, because my name used to always be in the end credits. I'm very ambitious. I'm a very ambitious person. And I used to see my name in the end credits. I was like, man, that's cool, but I want my name in the front credits. I want main title, single card. Or if I do get end title, I want it to be a single card. And we're fortunate enough I can sit here and say, yes, that is actually happening. Where we have front credit. And if we get end credit, it'll be a single card. But you're only as good as the people around you. You know, if you're the type of individual who is selfish and don't care about those around you, you might succeed a little bit, but it won't last.
Yeah. So what questions are you asking yourself today?
What questions do I ask myself?
Yeah.
Wow, looks so good. I mean, what do you mean by that?
So what questions are you asking yourself? Am I in the right field? What is my next step? What does next look like for me?
I think I'm in the right field. Going over 10 years strong, doing it, I'm definitely in the right field because I love helping people. I like to think I'm a people person, and I strive for people to succeed. For when the actors, when they send in, their tapes, or when they come into audition. I also love to write. Like, I love writing. It's one of my passions. So I definitely want to get more into producing later on down the line, but casting will never stop. Like, if I produce, I might still cast it.
It'll be an added extra.
Yeah, it'll be an extra paycheck.
Extra income. How
For the
many
networks. Hey, you gotta listen.
Should we have?
Tyler Perry, he plays Tyler Perry, he plays Medea, he plays producer, he plays director, listen, that's 5 different checks. Say it ain't.
You trying to get to the bag as quick as
Yeah, I mean, what's for me is for me. What your journey is your journey. What's gonna be for you is for you. I think Jay-Z said it best, like, what you eat don't make me shit, or whatever. So for me, it's kind of like, I'm always going to want to see people succeed. My path is always going to be different. Yeah.
What's one of the ways that people or viewers that are watching right now can tap in? That's a door that you particularly opened. I know you have your own casting company. Is that one of the ways if they're looking to be a casting director or?
We're open to that, but what we fringe upon is when actors want to get into casting, because 9 times out of 10 they just want to get into the casting office and see what roles are coming out. And I'm not mad at the hustle.
Hey,
who am I?
Back door. You got to slide in.
Who am I to stop somebody? Because somebody in this set tried to do that here, but we're not going to call out names, right? But we love giving people opportunity. I'm fortunate enough. For the most part, everybody that's worked with me thus far has been phenomenal, and my associate right now is absolutely phenomenal. I mean, we're working on multiple projects, and she's able to actually hold it down, literally. Yeah. So shout out to you, Kimberly Johnson.
Shout out to you, Kim. So curious, when it comes to low points in your career or growth moments, what is one that is top of mind for you that you don't mind talking about or sharing?
No, I think there's a few of them. Even to this day, I think, like, maybe it's the conceited narcissism in me because I'm from Brooklyn, New York. But I was up for a show. Yeah. Right? And then, interviewed, they say, oh, he did a great job. He was just like, he was great. Everything worked out. And then they went in a different direction. And I was just like, wow. And then I looked up who they went with. I'm not, I'm okay with it. Yeah. But then I was kind of like, my resume was a little bit more, and I was wondering why they went with this individual. So, for me, and I had to get out of that space. I was like, you know what? I'm contradicting myself. If I say what's for you is for you, then I can't get mad if somebody else gets something that they deserve. They felt that person should have gotten it, then that person should have gotten it. But I think low point in my, not even career, it was just kind of like watching my wife work hard, and me not being able to provide, not even as a man, but just as an individual, because, we've been together for, a real long time, yo. Maybe it's time to call it quits. I'm gonna call it after this.
I need you to know the years.
But to watch her just, struggle and try to make ends meet, like we had to sleep in our car one day because we couldn't afford $95 to pay for a hotel room for a night. And she was pregnant. I'm talking about like 9 months pregnant. I didn't like seeing her, the struggle. So for me, I always want my family to have what I didn't have. Like if we want to take a trip right now, let's just go. It's not bragging. It's just a matter of just working hard and playing hard. You work hard for what you want, and then you play harder. So when I saw that, with her struggling and just kind of like, oh man, but not once. But here's the beauty of it. Not once did she put me down. Not once did she make me feel less of a man. And I'm telling you, she's working for tips. She's making like $2.25 an hour. Yeah. Right. You saw how your whole face
hurting and everything.
Like this.
The waitress life is not bad, sir. Bad people giving you attitudes and everything, and still coming home and being able to pour into your partner.
She did that. And so for me, it was kind of like, now, hey, the world is yours. Whatever you want. I will do without to make sure that you're good. Not you. I'm talking about Teresa. Like she was saying.
I felt special for a second.
Yeah. Sorry, took it back from you. But I think we all have low points in our lives, but how you come out of that low point, like we pray together, we laugh together, we cry together. And so we're the type of people who just love giving back. So I think even before all this, we were people, if that makes sense. And for us, it helped us get out of that dark side or whatever. And then we was living in Clarkston, Georgia, and there was this great church. Matter of fact, we just spoke about it the other day. We said we got to visit that church and just, go see the peoples and say what's up with masks on, obviously.
Social distancing.
So social distancing.
Vaccinated or not.
Right.
Don't try this at home. Please don't walk up on George. How do you become or continue to be a student? How do you continue to be a student as a casting director? What does that look like practically?
For me, is being educated on the talent that's in town.
Okay.
Tapping into new talent. And also watching shows. I mean, I watch a lot of shows. Like I would literally sit in front of my, because my office now is in my house or whatever,
yeah.
Right? And so the monitor is on, but it's on Hulu.
Okay.
And so all these shows are coming on. So even while I'm sending out emails, I'll hear something I'm like, oh shoot, oh that person would be great. Well, that person would be great. And then I got agents and managers who were reaching out to me saying, hey, such and such would love to have a Zoom chat with you. I'm like, really? I said, okay, cool. I've met some awesome people.
Yeah.
So that's how I stay educated, is by staying in touch with obviously the managers and the agents, but also doing my own homework and seeing who's here in town.
Yeah. So if a person is not on TV and they're looking to get casted or become one of the actors that you reach out to, what's a piece of advice? Because I know a lot of viewers tuned in are not on screen yet.
Well, I think, you know what? For acting, it's a craft.
Yeah.
So with anything, it's like working out. If you let that muscle go, if you don't start training it, you're not gonna be able to utilize it. It's kind of like somebody who says, hey, they never went to school before, and they talk about, I know how to read. Does that make sense? Like, you have to be able to get trained. Like, I believe there are people out there who are naturally organic or whatever, who will just come with it, but you still have to know the set etiquette. You still have to know when to stop, when to turn it on, when to turn it off. Right? So a lot of people don't take acting classes, but I encourage you to take acting classes. And that right there, when you take these acting classes, they'll invite the producers, they'll invite the casting directors, but most importantly, they're gonna invite the agents. Let the agents do their job, but you should do your job as well as an actor. And what I mean, it's a business.
Yeah.
It's a business. Actors should know everything about this industry because you're the ones that everybody is seeing on this screen. So I encourage you to, yes, get an agent, but I also encourage you to know what it is that your agent knows, so that way you're that much more smarter.
Yeah.
So definitely for the viewers who are tuning in, for the millions and millions, The Rock, that are viewing, I would say, hey, get an agent. Sometimes go do your own thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of times in the industry, you hear of people not leveraging or maximizing their peers. A lot of times it's someone, above them who opens the doors and exposes them to opportunities. What would you say about the importance of making sure you have that network amongst your peers?
Network is very, very, I got a funny story for you.
Okay.
So, one day, first of all, two Brooklyn dudes can't be in the same room together because one of them gonna think they're better than the other. And so we were doing this class called Get Seen, and a little cocky gentleman comes in, right? He's from Brooklyn. And so I forgot what happened, but needless to say, we said, okay, thank you. He leaves, yada, yada. But I saw something in him, right? And then later on, I forgot how we reached out to his agent. He came in, he auditioned. He didn't get that role, still cocky. He didn't get the role, but he never gave up. And so he understood what it meant to like have great relationships with people. And we're awesome friends, we're family, forget friends, we're family today. And so came back, never gave up, came back. And he auditioned for one show and he got the show. But not only did he get the show, he was one of the leads, but then if you were in New York, you would see the poster on the train stations with his face on it.
Yeah,
you know? Right. And now he went off to do amazing shows, and he's doing amazing shows now. Unfortunately, he went to live in Cali because he thinks Cali is better or whatever, but he's okay, Brooklyn dude. But his name is Christian Robinson, and that's how I met him. And to this day, family. And so when you say networking is very important because he hit me up and there was no question about whether or not I was gonna do this. I said, whatever it is that you need, I'm there. Vice versa. But you guys gotta understand, if you take a look at Quentin Tarantino's, the Spike Lee's of the world, even Tyler Perry's of the world, the people that they utilize, they can get on the phone and call them right now. If you ever watch a Quentin Tarantino, even Adam Sandler, you watch his movies, right? You'll see normally he usually has the same people at some point in there for his comedies. He's showing his people love. So as a producer, he can just hit them up like, hey, I need your help today. Or vice versa, they can hit him up like, hey, I need your help today. That's what it's about, growth. Let's grow together. If I'm getting it and then I hit you up, or I'm getting it, but I don't hit you up all of a sudden now I leave you laying in the wind, that's not cool. Yeah. I can, like the people that I'm very, very close with, I can hit them up and they can hit me up. Like Rob Hardy hit me up. He wants me to do a class for him. Absolutely. He's one of the people who created, who gave me my career. So what do I look like? No, I don't have time. No, I do have time. And that's the saying. People make time for what they want. Yeah. That's a true saying.
Yeah. So who's another person that if they called you today, right now, you're like, yep, I'm on the way?
Jesus.
Hallelujah, amen.
Hallelujah, amen. No, there's several people. And you know what? Sometimes it's not about the people who did it for you. Yeah. It's about giving back. Yeah. It is all about somebody somewhere will get one thing out of this, and I pray they run with it. Yeah. I went from making $400 a week to now having a quote. Ooh. The beauty of it is, I'll never forget another low point that I had, and this was a low point. I had $10,000 in my account. I'd never had $10,000 in my account before. My wife, look, let me tell you something. I got my phone, I would go on, look. I see 10000. I was happy to see that. I had like 10 grand. Like I amassed $10,000. Like shit, I've never had that before. And I'm a grown man. And so I happened to look in the account one day and it said, it wasn't black anymore, it was now red. It said negative 99999. Like
it went in, it went out.
Right, like it was, I said, Lord Jesus. They done took the money. We had a car repoed. We couldn't afford to pay it. And so they finally caught up with us. We were trying to hide the car. It is what it is. But they repoed the car. But again, when God is doing something, let him do his thing. Yeah. I promise you, don't question it. So car got repoed. I don't know how we bought these kids gifts for Christmas, and we even went to New York. Don't know how that happened. But the beauty of it is when they repoed that car and they took the money out of our account, that's all the money we had. Literally, that was all the money we had. And so when they did that, we was say, okay, whatever. I told my wife, I said, look, you know what? It happened. God is gonna bless us 40 times more. Don't sweat that. And so we decided, because we were in a 2-bedroom apartment, 3 kids. We said, this is tight. Temper started flaring. My kids started looking like I don't like them.
It was starting to feel
Punch
like
them in their
home.
chest. Yeah, I was like, And so somebody put us in touch with a realtor. Because they took that 10 grand and they paid off the car, they had to send us a letter and take it off of our credit score, whatever you call that crap. Your credit reporting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so we were credited. And so now our credit started building up and we were able to get a house. And the funny thing is we went house hunting from here. The very last house that we saw is where we're at right now. And the beauty of it is when them kids ran in that house, everybody ran to a room. This is my room, this is my room, this is my room. And I felt proud. I felt proud. But the crazy thing is that and this, again, when God is doing something, let him do it. So we go to close on our house, right?
Yeah.
And the people say, oh, the numbers aren't right, we can't close. I said, excuse me? I said, all right. Lo and behold, the lender, the lady who did all the paperwork, she's supposed to take a fee. She took her fee out so that way we can get our house. We said to her, listen, please let us pay you. She said, no, keep it. That's on me. So we went from potentially not getting the house to now, it's a sexy home, if I might add, too.
Who did the decoration? Your wife?
Yep, but I did most of the building, though. I'm telling you, she decorated, but I did most of the building.
Yeah. Even in your story, I mean, you talk about moments where there was a need and you just kind of filled it. You didn't wait on anyone to tell you to pick up the phone or to pull up and show up at UPS when you went to the wrong location or whatnot.
Wow, thanks for bringing that back up.
You know, I just had a inspire moment. You can go the wrong way, but you're never really going the wrong way. You're always on the right path.
Yes, I absolutely 100%, but as long as you're doing the right thing, good.
Yeah.
If it's negative, then, it doesn't, because I read a book called The Alchemist, and it just put me on that journey to where nothing can stop you.
Yeah.
The only person that can stop you is you or death.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you really want something, go for it. Like, literally, when I got a project that I want to do on my home, I will stand there, and I think my neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I will stand there and just visualize it. Literally, it might take me 10, 15, but I will visualize it, and then I will just go in and do it. And just do it. And with any project, I will sit there and be like, okay, what actor would be great for this? What person would be great for this? You have to think it in order for it to come through.
Yeah. So as you transition more from casting to now just producing, what are the key considerations that you take into mind when it comes to who you want to bring into a project?
Well, being that I've been doing casting for a while makes it easier.
Yeah.
But I think the beauty of it is when we eventually start doing producing is knowing the people that are out there. Like your crew is very, very important.
Yeah.
If you don't have a strong crew or people that have your back, it can't be a one-man show. And I don't believe in one-man shows. So it takes a team. Knowing that, I think everything will fall in place.
How do you navigate your village? So it sounds like you have a lot of relationships, like you know a lot of people, and you're maintaining all these relationships. What does that look like for you? Is it like, hey, I know I typically talk to this person Monday, Wednesday, Friday? I mean, granted, it's organic, but how do you feed all these people in your village? That's now
I
huge.
think I wouldn't say I feed them. It's more of like just communicating with one another, especially with this whole COVID thing when that transpired. So I'm seeing less and less of people. But it's just a matter of phone call. Hey, what's up? What's good? To this day, I still thank the people who brought me into this industry. To the point where they're like, George, stop thanking us. I said, no.
Handwritten card, thank yous, or like text?
Just a text, like, hey, let's do dinner, whatever.
Yeah.
Just to say thank you. And it goes a long way. But I never look at it as me being the person who's feeding people. Anybody who gets a job through me, they got it, honestly. It was their hard work that made it happen. Like, to this day, Christian and I are still friends, family, but it was his hard work that got us there. It was me believing that got us there. You know, if we were to hire you, it would be, hey, you know, what's in you? You know, I got to be the individual to see something in you in order to bring it to fruition to the producers. In essence, the gatekeeper. You know, so but I never look at it as I'm the one feeding people, or I love being, I guess it's humble. Yeah. Because I never want to be that cat or that guy who feels like, oh, he thinks he's all that. Yeah. Like, people think I'm mean for some reason.
They do? What?
Yeah, go figure.
They said that?
Because of the mean grip.
A little tough.
But I do take my career, and notice I didn't say job, I take my career very seriously, because there's a difference between a job and a career. Yeah. So I take it very seriously, and I want the people who are coming in to take it as seriously. Yeah. Because I'm not gonna sing you in front of the producers if you're doing a half-ass job. I can't look bad in front of the producers. I like looking good, believe it or not. And so, again, to whom much is given, a lot is required. Yeah. And so, with what we've been afforded, I don't take it for granted. Yeah. Nor will I take it for granted.
What's that one word or scripture that you really like lean on? You've kind of referenced a lot of, I would say, scripture or just words from God. So what is that one word that's like a guiding statement for you?
When you want something, the whole universe conspires to help you achieve it. That's from Paulo Coelho, from The Alchemist. Yeah. I even got it tattooed on my back.
Stop it.
Mm-hmm. I can't show
No. Explicit content. I'm sorry. Students will see this.
What just happened? And I got Jeremiah, for I have plans to prosper you.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Jesus.
You have a prosperous life. It's okay.
But here's the deal, though. Being prosperous doesn't mean it's a lot of money. Yeah. It does not mean that. It does not, because you can have all the money in the world and you're just miserable. Yeah. For me, I love being around my family.
Wealth and family, relationships, opportunities.
I absolutely love it. I even tell Christian this, and I keep referring back to him because he keeps looking at me. But is that when you know, I want generational wealth. So when I'm long gone, I want my kids to feed off of this. You know what I mean? Like
your children's children.
My children's children's children. You know, I would love for one of them to jump in and be a casting director, keep the legacy going. Don't stop because if I'm not leaving them any money, y'all asked out.
Stop.
You ain't getting checked. You ain't getting shit.
Gotta restart.
No, I'm kidding. And then now I have a granddaughter, so that just brings more joy into the moment. And just, you know, for me, it's family. We recently went to Jamaica, and it was so cool just to see running around, having a good time. The teenagers running off, doing their thing. My granddaughter not want to be bothered with me. I said, okay, whatever, man. And just having a good time, just being amongst family and just enjoying it. But you got to work hard in order to get it. You can't. People come to set, and they're like, oh, this is all I'm getting. First of all, when we hire an actor, right? And this really ticks me off. You can't go anywhere else and make $1,000 in a day, okay? Here we are giving you $1,000 to come in and say, hey, how are you? I will say that shit 8 times.
Good morning, how you doing?
For the next 8 days.
Hello.
Hi. What?
Welcome. Mm-hmm. Hi. Thank you so much. Come again, please.
And it's funny because I had one actor tell me one day, we hired him, and so I think the role went away, but we still gave him another role. He's like, no, that's not the role I wanted. So I went back and looked at his resume, and the guy had 6 things on his resume. And I say this to say, like, you still had an opportunity. Why would you give that up? Yeah. You know, you don't know what would have came out of that opportunity. I had a young lady, we were doing Coming to America, and it was a background role, but they wanted an actress to read for that role or whatever. So we did a mock audition. The actress, we called several people. Some people were like, nah, I don't do that. I don't do those kind of roles. One actress came in, killed it. We ad-libbed, we had a great time with it. Producers was like, it's her. So it went from working from 1 day to 3 days.
You never know.
And now her career, you know, it's things are happening for her. It's beautiful. from that. And people don't understand. It could be the small. One lady when we were shooting Star, right? She was supposed to be like the manager or something to that effect, and literally the producers fell in love with her. And when I tell you, they started writing her into, it's like, oh yeah, we need her back. We need this to happen. Those one lines, people think is horrible. Those one lines, depending on how you deliver it and what you do, it could turn out to be something beautiful.
Wow. So we're gonna wrap up, but I have one last question. How do you see the casting industry changing? Like, where is it going? If someone is looking to get into casting, producing, writing, what do you see kind of driving the industry?
Well, I think if somebody wants to get into, it's twofold. If somebody wants to get into casting, producing, writing, I would say get with a company that's already established.
Okay.
So that way you could start interning with them. Because please, one young lady interviewed with me, right? She's like, yeah, my rate is, I said, okay, copy that. Because you gotta understand, I never went to anybody and said my rate is.
Yeah.
I was an intern.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I think people have a misconception, like when they, come in, this is what I'm supposed to get. Okay, because more than likely they're gonna look at you like, really? What have you done? Have you worked hard for it, but you're gonna come in here and demand this? Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
And that's just anywhere you go. It's like going up to your teacher like, hey, I want an A. So did you do the test? Did you do the work? You just want an A?
Have you studied?
Have you studied? And I think as far as the casting industry itself and where it's headed, in the Southeast for that matter, is so many more opportunities for the actors here. And I think it's the casting directors here who are speaking with the producers and trying to get more roles cast for the talent that's here in the Southeast.
Gotcha.
And COVID plays a part of it as well.
Yeah.
Because, obviously the whole traveling bans and this, that, and the third. So it's a great opportunity for people to keep sharpening their tools, get in that room, and then show the powers that be what they're capable of doing.
How is that working? The Zoom, the virtual casting.
It's actually good. If you got messed up internet, don't bother. Because you'll be talking to a person like this.
Dang.
You see how still I am, and then it's frozen. So you kind of like, oh.
Oh, shout out to the internet.
Yeah, but I think as long as the actors keep wanting it and keep submitting and keep just showing the powers that be. Hey man, there's so much talent here. There's so much talent. There's untapped talent. There's tapped talent. It's just a matter of them being given that opportunity to show the world what they're made of.
Yeah. So if you could look at the camera and give one, last piece of word of advice, what would it be?
When somebody tells you no, laugh at it. Run with it. Never accept no as an answer. I've been told no so many times, it feels good because I took all those no's and turned every last one into a yes. Again, what's for you is for you. So no.
There you have it, folks. I am your host, J.L. Benjamin, and we had our special guest, George Pierre, keeping it real, straight from
I'm gonna take over. Hi, this is George Pierre. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, my name is J.L. Benjamin, and I'm so excited to have hosted our special guest, George Pierre, straight from Brooklyn and IET, by way of IET. I am so excited that we had him here today. I hope you walked away with something that you can take into your future and your next steps today. So thank you so much, and we hope you tune in again right here on Paths.